Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Welcome to the International Nuclear Science, Technology and Engineering Conference, INUSTEC 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to begin, please stay tuned. Please scan the QR code or link given for the registration. I would like to seek your cooperation in completing this conference smoothly. Kindly, please mute your microphone to avoid any noise interruption and disturbance. Thank you for your kind cooperation and attention. All right, before we proceed, the event will be started with Keynote 1 entitled of UTM Nuclear Engineering Program, A Success Story by Associate Professor Dr. KHAIDZIR HAMZAH and will be chaired by Dr. Muhammad Arif Sazali. And after that, the opening ceremony will be launched. Without further ado, I pass this floor to you, Dr. Arif, to chair the Session 1 Keynote 1. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sazwani. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. So welcome to INUSTEC 2021. So we will start our conference today with the first keynote, which will be delivered by Associate Professor Dr. KHAIDZIR bin HAMZAH. The keynote of the first is UTM Nuclear Engineering Program, a success story. So maybe you can open your camera, Dr. KHAIDZIR, if you are ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Arif Sazali, and very kind words and very kind and generous words indeed. I feel small actually, not as gigantic as what you pictured me to be. I'm just happen to be a bystander in all of this. Okay. Before I start, I'd like to welcome everyone. I can see from the list of participants, the chairman of the conference, Professor Narul Hay, the chair of the place where I am at the School of Chemical Engineering and Energy Engineering, Professor Ghazali, is present. And then let me share my file first before I start. I hope you can see this, Dr. Arif. Can you see this?
Yes, we can see this.
Okay then. First, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me to tell my side of the story of our nuclear engineering academic program. Whether it is a success story or not, it is for you to judge. And I am just doing what, together with my colleague, do what we should to the best of our ability. I hope there is an element of success in all of this. Whether it is a complete success, that is for us to judge later on. Okay, the title given to me was UTM Nuclear Engineering Program. It is very fitting actually because this is going to be my last INUSTEC before I retire. So this is sort of a swan song for me to take you to our journey, on our journey in running the program from the first inception until now. Okay, and my name is KHAIDZIR HAMZAH from the School of Chemical and Energy Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, UTM. I will talk about the rest of it after this. Okay, before that, I would like to introduce our university, my university, UTM. It is located. It is located. Our main campus is located in Johor Bahru, and then our city campus is located in Kuala Lumpur, and then there is our third and new campus in Pago. It is not in the picture there, I was sure that I did everything last night. It is a long way from the center of activity, but still, being close to Singapore, we are as busy as Kuala Lumpur itself. Okay, and these are okay. Oh, sorry, I dropped my laptop. Okay, sorry. This is our main campus in Johor Bahru, our beautiful campus. I think one of the most beautiful campuses in the country. It is located in a huge area, 1,148 hectares. And then there are many activities that we are holding here apart from education. You'll be welcome to when you are here in this region, just drop by in our campus to enjoy the beautiful scenery there. Okay, this is the school that we are at SKT, or School of Chemical and Energy Engineering. This is the old building N01. This is the current building N01A. The signage was not changed. This is an old picture. And then about our nuclear engineering program. Okay. Okay, the need to create a nuclear engineering program at institutions of higher learning in Malaysia was based on the intention. Sorry, I'm doing a few things at the same time. Based on the intention to use nuclear energy as a source of national electricity generation, particularly in Peninsular Malaysia in the post-2020 period. This intention was contained in several cabinet meetings, including the National Nuclear Policy approved in 2010 and Country's Economic Transformation Program, ETP, which is one of the pillars of our new economic model with the objective of making Malaysia a high-income nation. The focus area for implementing this policy was contained in Trust 8, which concerned human capital development. 5 strategies were identified to realize the objective of Trust 8. They were developing national science and technology education programs, developing a continuous nuclear education program, developing national nuclear efficiency and certification scheme, maintain trained human capital in nuclear sector, develop a nuclear education institution. Most, if not all, of these strategies were in place already. It is for us to sort of to harmonize it, to improve it, to make it realized. Under the economic transformation plan, we plan to have 2 nuclear power plants to start operating and generating electricity in 2021 and 2022. The dates for these 2 NPPs were postponed to 2030 after the accident at Fukushima Daiichi, and now has been postponed indefinitely. Even though so, we must continue doing what we started to do because it is, to me personally, it is nuclear energy is an inevitable thing, you know. One of these days, we have got to resort to nuclear energy to be part of our energy mix. Right. One of the activities that we push forward was education, and then the government decided to have a nuclear engineering academic program run in the country. And then they chose UTM to do that, to run this nuclear energy and nuclear engineering academic program. And we took in the first batch of students in 2012. And the curriculum for the program, the academic program was devised or formulated with reference to the guidelines issued by IAEA. We also took into account in finalizing our curriculum, took into account the views and inputs of various stakeholders, and we benchmarked our curriculum against top universities running similar programs around the world. Initially, the curriculum was skewed towards the anticipation of having our nuclear power plant. But since then, recently, we sort of tweaked the curriculum a bit to include nuclear technology and nuclear applications courses. But nuclear energy courses still remain. The curriculum must fulfill the requirements of program standards that are engineering and engineering technology by the Malaysian Qualification Agency, the Engineering Accreditation Council, and the Ministry of Higher Education. And then so far we have been audited 3 times by the ASSOC, and we received, they bestowed a total of 10 years of accreditation. The most recent one, a maximum of 6 years of accreditation until 2024. Okay. The challenges we face in running the program, in managing the program. Let me take you through time to when it all began for me. On one fine day, I was summoned by the then Dean of Faculty of Science, where I was at, and asked me or instructed me or told me to move to a new program, to a new faculty. When I asked why, he said, we are having a new program that run, a new department that run a new academic program, nuclear engineering program. Then I asked, why me? He said, it is an instruction from the top. So reluctantly, I had to accept. The reluctance was due to I had been at Faculty of Science for more than 10 years. Right? I was comfortable with my own things. I was doing different things other than nuclear engineering because I graduated in 1985. Right? Since then, I had changed my interest towards corrosion and NDT. So when asked to run nuclear engineering program, I was reluctant. First, because it was a new program. Second, I was doing something else. Third, it is also going to be at a new place. Right. But since it was the directive from the top, I had to accept. And then they had one department ready, the Department of Renewable Energy, that would run the nuclear engineering program. Right. And the department was a department of one. I was the only person there. So the challenges were first to get lecturers, right? To run an academic program, we need lecturers, right? And then to get students, and then to have the program accredited, and then to acquire space for laboratories, to buy equipment and instrumentation and instruments to equip our soon to have laboratories. Okay, to get lecturers, we had to travel abroad, even abroad, and of course locally to get those lecturers. And we found it almost next to impossible to get lecturers because the criteria, the main criteria for the lecturer was and still is that person must be having a nuclear engineering degree as the first degree, bachelor degree. Right. There were not many around in those days. There were a few, but again, most of them were comfortable with their own place, and they were about to retire anyway. Right. So it was difficult to get those in Malaysia. So we had to travel abroad. Well, abroad meaning here across the water to Indonesia. In Indonesia, traditionally, many Indonesian professors came to Malaysia to our universities to help in our universities in educating our students in those days. Lately, nowadays, there is no motivation for them to cross over because the remuneration package that they are receiving in Indonesia are similar to what they'll be getting in Malaysia. So it was not attractive. I think I made the trip there 3 times. I went to Batam, I went to Gajah Mada University, I went to University of Indonesia. And then unsuccessfully. To say that those were wasted trips was not quite true because we managed to establish a network there. And then eventually, after we exhausted every avenues to get lecturers. Eventually, we managed to gather a number of people, right? And then I was asked, why don't you go to Korea and Japan and other established countries? They have got many nuclear engineers. They were right, but then again, our salary structure or scheme was not comparable to their salary structure, and we cannot afford to pay them king's ransom. They have got to follow what we are having, right? And then the second one is to get students. We limit the first intake. We limit for the first few years. The enrollment was limited to annual intake limited to 30 students only, right? And for the first few years, we quite successfully did that. We received, I don't know how, but there are people, young people, young in the country that found nuclear engineering interested. Hence, we managed to get other students without any problem. And then the third challenge was to have the problem accredited. It was mandatory for any academic program in the country to be accredited by for engineering program by the EAC, Engineering Accreditation Council of the Board of Engineers of Malaysia. Again, and then the fourth one is to acquire space for laboratories. I had to beg around to get spaces, right? Because to have new spaces was out of the question. It would be costing a lot of money, and we did not have the money, so I had to beg to when I went around the campus to look for empty spaces, so to speak, and then I managed to get the required spaces. These spaces were needed for setting up our laboratories, right? And then I can still remember, casually I asked the director of labs, then Professor Mustafa, Professor Mustafa Yusuf, asking him for spaces. He said, okay, just like that, okay. And then when he stepped down, Professor Zamri, the new director, added a few more spaces for us. So we are grateful to the director of labs. And then the final challenge was to buy equipment and instruments. Right. Since our program was there was nowhere for us to ask, to look for example on what to do. We had to go to the internet. Mr. Google helped a lot, and then eventually managed to get the funding and the required instruments. Even though there are a lot more instrument and equipment that we need to make our program world class. Okay. Okay. After all the activities in facing the challenges, these are our lecturers. Right. Currently, we have got 12 lecturers with various disciplines. Right. And then most of them are from within. Okay. For example, the last in the list, the last three were from our first batch of intake. The best top, the cream of the batch. We invited them to be part of our faculty members. And then we approached Dr. Jasman from Faculty of Science and Dr. Mohsin from School of Mechanical, Prof. Narul Hay from UIA. I can still remember when casually as well, I asked Professor Narul, Dr. Narul, come over to JB and join us. Okay. That was song to my ears. No need for me to cajole or to convince. He said, okay. And now he is still here, and he is the chairman of ASSOC 2021. And Dr. Fadel, we get from a guest engineering, Dr. Pechon as well, Dr. Wanahati, Dr. Afifah was my former student when I was at Science, Dr. Zuhairun from gas engineering as well. So we are expecting a few more joining us because a few of the current members of the faculty are approaching our retirement point. And then student enrollment, if you look at the table, I cannot explain until now what happened to the 2015 and 2016. Suddenly, the number of intake for that particular session dropped. And then pick up again in 2016. And then in 2019-20 drop again. That is understandable because of the announcement by the government to not to go nuclear, right? And then so that affected the number of intake. Currently, we have got 82, and the total enrollment student enrollment is 82. The current and the next session, we do not have the numbers yet. And then so far they have been 1, 2, 3, 5 batches have graduated. 6 batches have graduated, and most of them managed to secure employment in various industry, not only in nuclear industry. The last figure that I got yesterday was the student association conducted a survey on where the graduated students were employed. The response was not good. Only 47% responded, and then the percentage of employment was more than 70%. I think 73%, which is not bad if we consider the current situations that we are in now. And then laboratories. Okay, these are the laboratories that we are having, or we have already have nuclear physics laboratories, which when I took one professor, experimental professor from Hanyang University of South Korea, came to visit our nuclear physics lab. I was surprised when he said, "Your lab is better than ours." Because in Korea, in Hanyang University, they do not have nuclear physics lab for bachelor degree program. They got the lab only for postgraduate program. So that was 1-0 for us, right? And then gamma spectroscopy, we have computer simulation, radar monitoring, nuclear electronics. Well, nuclear electronics, we purposely set up our own nuclear electronics because prior to this, our students were taught by different schools, School of Electrical Engineering. And then they, sorry to say, they do not have a clue what nuclear electronics all about. So they were taught only basic electronics there, so which was not good. Hence, we set up our own nuclear electronics lab. That was the brainchild of Professor Narul. And then we also have thermohydraulic labs. I think the first in the country, if I'm not mistaken. We our compatriot in Hanyang University was generous enough to give us their design of thermohydraulic setup, and we constructed our setup based on that. And in non-destructive testing lab, which actually this has nothing to do with nuclear engineering, but then again, one of the techniques, one of the methods used in non-destructive testing involves radiation, so that make it relevant to our program. And then furthermore, the reason we are having a non-destructive lab because we are also running 2 NDT courses. with the hope that these courses, radiographic testing and ultrasound testing, would help to improve their employability after they graduated. And then sample preparation and neutron lab, we have a very small, we have the electronics to detect neutron. We have some small neutron sample with strength, and then we would like to improve on that, because the main difference between nuclear engineering, nuclear science, and physics is the neutron. We need to be more active in neutron activities. And then the exposure room, currently the exposure room is located at the physics department, faculty of science, which is very inconvenient to get from there to our place, right? So we are thinking of having our own radiation exposure room to be located around our laboratories compound. And then these are the sample of the photos of our lab. This building is T03, is where our labs are located. And this is the thermohydraulic setup. This is the center top is the computer simulation lab. And then the top lab is our own mini library. It is interesting to talk about this. You know, in one of the meetings with the Koreans, Professor Stephen Kim of Hanyang University asked me, KHAIDZIR, what would you like us to help you? That was a blank check for me. I need books. So he sent over books, you know, together with KNA, Korea National Korean Nuclear Station, sent books worth more than 50,000 ringgit. And then these books some of the books can be obtained, can be found anywhere in Malaysia. You know? This is one of the book costs $800 per book, and then anybody who would like to refer to any of these books, please come over. This is for everyone to read, to use as reference. Okay. And this is our dark room. The top two on the left. Top right is our electronics lab. The bottom ones are for radon lab. Ultrasonic lab, samples nuclear physics lab, top right. And our gamma to hyperpure germanium gamma spectrometer, and then magnetic particle testing lab, and all of these are NT lab. We have got almost everything, but not quite everything. We have got. We want to have more. Sorry, I'm looking at the watch. Okay, got 10 minutes to go. Okay, recently we set up our own research group. Advanced, we call it energy. It stands for Advanced Nuclear Energy Research Group. The areas of interest are as listed: nuclear system design and engineering, nuclear safety and risk assessment, testing, verification, nuclear research building design, nuclear interpretation, nuclear thermal hydraulics, set selection and evaluation, modeling and simulation of new and advanced reactor system. All of these, each area belongs to someone, one of us. So we have yet to embark on the activity of this because we are waiting for grants. Please give us grants. we need grants, right? And then we have got the knowledge, we have got the expertise. What we don't have is the grant to make it happen, right? And then the future plan is to offer postgraduate academic programs. Well, we should have this postgraduate academic program if we were to be active in our research. We need a new exposure room for radiographic testing. I'm looking for that. We need additional lecturers. We need to set up new laboratories to increase collaboration activities with foreign organizations, foreign universities. Currently, we are doing that with Batan, University of Gajah Mada, and also Chulalongkorn University of Bangkok. And finally, we would like to set up Jabatan JPK, Accredited Training Center. We want to have a center so that we can train our students in preparation for them after graduation, right? It is to increase the chances of their employability. The JPK, the training center is for NDT only, right? We want to start with radiographic testing first. And then before I end, I'd like to acknowledge a few organizations and individuals for their help on our journey up to now. Organizations such as Ministry of Higher Education, Ministry of Science, UTM, Nuclear Malaysia, LPTA, MNS, IEA, JEA, KNA, Hanyang University, KAIS, the Chinese CNNC, CZEC, and Tsinghua University, UKM, Uniten, MMPC, Batan, SCTN, ZL Teknologi, Sdn Bhd, Microspectrum, Sdn Bhd, and numerous individuals who have helped us on our journey to get to where we are now. I must mention these individuals, a few of the individuals, like Dr. Normally Muslim, Dr. Aziz Muhammad, President of MNS, right? Dr. Farid Idris, Dr. Rawi of Nuclear Malaysia, Dr. Yamashita of JEA, Prof. Siwan Kim of Hanyang, our former deans, Prof. Samsuri, Prof. Rahman, Prof. Zanuddin, and Prof. Ghazali, and many more others, too many to mention. And then without their help, we will not get to where we are now. And I hope they continue with their help until the end, so that we will become a world-class nuclear engineering academic program that can make Malaysia, UTM, and all of us proud. I think with that, I think I would like to end my talk. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for listening. Then gracias, merci. Apa lagi? Thank you. I hand it over back to you, Dr. Arif. Or if there is any question, I am willing to. I will try my best to answer that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. KHAIDZIR, for the very interesting keynote. So maybe you can stop sharing your slide so you can see who is in the participant right now you want to see. And also, we open like 5 minutes if anyone have any questions for Dr. KHAIDZIR.
Dr. KHAIDZIR, nice to meet you. I think you promote strongly still. Thank you. Very interesting presentation from Japan. Thank you.
Long time no see, Dr. Yamashita.
Yeah.
Glad to see you are still active.
Yeah, I hear very often about you. I hear about you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I hope good things. You heard good things about me. I hope.
Yeah, the only good side. Okay.